Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Bariatrics and Tips. My name is Michelle Geeson. I will be your host today and every Sunday at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it. It's always fun to do this, and I've only been doing it now my third week, and I'm having a lot of fun cooking and sharing stuff and sharing best practices. So I appreciate you being here. I wanted to preface this cooking demonstration today by just talking a little bit about food. It's an unfortunate thing that food is such a huge part of everyone's life, and we need it in order to live. And I know that we shouldn't live to eat, we should eat to live. And that's what I'm trying to do with this show. Living large, but still cooking small and finding flavor in everything that we do. It's a huge part of what we need to do. So, hi Misty, glad you can tune in. And I think Melissa's here too. So I appreciate you guys coming in today to hang with me for a little bit. Hey Liz. Food is the nucleus of so many different things in our everyday lives and just occasions. I mean, you've got religion, you've got celebration, you've got work potlucks, Halloween, Christmas. I mean, even illnesses, like the common cold, you want to eat chicken soup. So, I mean, there's so much that revolves around food, and I think it's very important not to feel deprived in any way, shape, or form. And I know for me, a best practice is to make sure that I know that I'm making a conscious choice. It's my decision what I get to put in my mouth. And even though I've had gastric bypass, and even though I've lost the weight and I'm proud that I've kept it off, I'm not without fault. And there are times where I feel very weak, and there are times where I would give anything to drink a Coke. I mean, just like the sound of the can popping sets me in a tailspin. But those are like visual and audio cues that we can still combat. You just have to let it run its course. And so today, in that respect, I am going to be your bariatric barista. I'm going to show you how you can still have some really fun coffee drinks for the fraction of the price, but a huge fraction of the calories. I'm also going to be able to show you the best bagel schmear this side of the promised land too. So you are going to be saying OY VAY before you even realize it. I grew up in the Detroit suburbs, and I was raised 100% Jewish, so bagels and lox is seriously the food of my people. And I love bagels and lox. And with bagels and lox comes carbs and cream cheese and fat grams. And this is going to be a great way to slim it down. And not only are we going to slim it down, we're going to slim it down using my protein cloud bread that I must say is amazing. And you'll have the recipe too. I'm going to show you and walk you through everything, but I will make sure that the recipe is posted after today's broadcast, okay? So the first thing I want to do is the spotlight, and I want to give a shout out to Beverly. Beverly is not her real name. Beverly did not want to be sought out right now. She's still, I don't know, she's still having her fears, and she's still trying to make adjustments. But Beverly, I want you to know, you told me that you just got into Wonderland. And for those of you who don't know, Wonderland means you're in the 100s. So she's out of the 200s and she's in Wonderland. And I think that's so great. And hopefully, as your weight loss journey grows, you'll be more comfortable with sharing a little bit of your bio and maybe even a picture so we could celebrate you properly. But for now, Beverly, I just want to tell you, you go girl, you've got this. And everyone, if you're here right now and if you're in, please give her some love and just say, way to go, Beverly, because Wonderland is a huge milestone, and it's meant to be celebrated. So good job, Beverly, you've got this, and we're here for you if you need anything, okay? So let's go and start with our bagel schmear prep. We're going to do a couple things. We're going to kind of toggle back and forth in the kitchen because there are a few preparatory things for the bagel and the homemade cream cheese that I want to do and have it sit. So we're gonna do a little bagel stuff, and then we're gonna shift gears to our coffee drinks, and then we're gonna loop back around to our bagels, okay? So that being said, let's start off with the cottage cheese. And you say cottage cheese and I say cream cheese, but we're gonna do both. Now, I've been obsessing over cream cheese for the last couple weeks because I love it and my family loves it and they love their bagels and cream cheese, and I buy them bagels and cream cheese. And every so often I'll take a little spoonful just to say that I had it, and that'll be that. But I want so much more. I do. I want it all. I want all the cream cheese. So I did some research online. Google is my best friend. Well, one of them. And I was able to make my own homemade cream cheese, and it's so super easy. So I'm going to show you how to do it. The first thing that you want to start with is cottage cheese. Now, if you don't like cottage cheese, a lot of people, including 3 members of my family that shall remain nameless, Adam, Maya, Troy, don't like cottage cheese because of the texture. Completely respectable, I get it. It's not for everyone. But if you don't like the texture of cottage cheese, don't worry, because I'm taking the texture out of it. You're gonna have a nice whipped cream cheese by the time I'm done with this bad boy, okay? But you have to be patient. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna strain the cottage cheese. You need like a big colander, and you're gonna pour the cream cheese into the colander and you're gonna rinse it at the sink. When I move over to the sink, the camera's not gonna go with me, so I apologize. So I'm gonna go over to the sink, I'm gonna dump this in, and then I'm gonna rinse it, and then I'll show you what we're contending with. And it won't take long at all. I'm taking a spatula and I'm putting it into the colander, and then I've got the water on, and I'm gonna put it on the spray mode, and I'm just getting all the spray, or all the liquid out of there. And if you're not familiar with the liquid of cottage cheese, I'm sure you will be after I say one word, and that's the whey, W-H-E-Y. That is obviously the mainstay of most of our sources of protein shakes and protein powder. And if you want to go a step further, you remember that whole childhood poem, Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet eating her curds and whey. She was eating cottage cheese. That's all she was doing, was eating cottage cheese. So it's pretty cool when you start putting the pieces together. I like to rinse the cottage cheese. Like right now, I can see that the sink, when it's draining, I can still see like a cloudy white, which is the whey still draining. And I like to make sure that it's clear. And once it's clear, I know that I've got most of it done, and then I can transfer it. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna transfer it to a couple pieces of paper towel. I've got a towel underneath. The orange is a towel. It's like a chamois towel, and it's gonna catch the moisture. And then I've got the paper towel for the cottage cheese to actually set on. And I'll move this out of the way so you can see it. And this looks pretty good. So I'm gonna shake it a little bit in the colander, and then I'm going to bring it over here and transfer it to the paper towel. And all you're left with are the cheese curds. And you want to make sure that they're spread out a little bit. And you can use your hands if you need to. I know I'm going to be the only one eating this in my house, so I can touch it if I want to. All right, so I'm using most of the paper towel. And I am going to let that sit for a little bit. We want to make sure that we get it as dry as we can. I mean, not dry where it's like desert dry, but we want to drain as much moisture out of it as we can, because the less moisture in it, the thicker our cream cheese is going to be, and it's yummy. Let me assure you of that. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to continue on with the cloud bread, okay? So what we're going to do for the cloud bread, I know you've probably seen a lot of different keto-friendly cloud bread recipes, and that's where I actually got it from. But the problem with the cloud bread, at least in my eyes, now again, you're gonna do what works for you, what your surgeon and dietitian suggest, but again, that keto cloud bread, if I ate it the way that the recipe called, I'd probably be bowing to the porcelain god for God knows how long. The fat content, I've seen some recipes that use mayonnaise, cream cheese, or both. And yeah, trust me, it sounds great. Love my mayonnaise, love my cream cheese, but putting all that together, me personally, I just can't justify it. Now remember, I did have gastric bypass surgery in 2015. I'm coming up on my 6th rebirthday, and there is nothing that you can get me to taste that feels better than being healthy. And Misty last week made that comment, and she's so right. And so I've been trying to slim it down and everything, and I worked with a couple recipes, and this only took me 2 batches to figure out, and I'm so thrilled that I figured it out. So I'm gonna share it with you. The first thing that we need to do is get our recipe. And I have my recipe here. I've got it in a page protector. That's a really good best practice. I buy my page protectors at Dollar Tree. There's 16 of them in a package for $1. So I put my recipes in here because I know me and I'm a messy cook. I am also a good cleaner, but I am a messy cook. And so this way, if I splish splash things on there, all I have to do is wipe it with a paper towel, and it's a great best practice. So I want to make sure that whenever we're cooking, a good way to continue to cook small and to really maximize your time in the kitchen, just make sure you have everything on hand, because nothing is more infuriating than getting halfway through a recipe and realizing that you don't have an egg or this or that. And there have been many times I've had to go mid-recipe and gather something at the store or make a quick run to the Dollar Tree or something to get something that I missed. So I do have everything. I was really good about preparing. I've got my recipe. Again, this recipe is going to be shared with you on the broadcast, so no worries there, okay? So the first thing that we have to do is we're gonna get 3 eggs, and they need to be separated. I've already done that because I didn't want to waste time showing you separating eggs. I'm sure most of you do. Couple different ways to separate eggs. You know, you can balance them in the half shell. Some people actually put it through their hand and let the egg whites run through, and that works too, I guess, as long as your hands are clean. But we're going to focus on the egg yolk first. And what we're gonna do, I've got the oven preheated to 300. I've got a baking sheet that is lined with parchment paper. Parchment paper should be your best friend because it's a easy peasy, no mess way to just get it done, and you don't need to waste your time with cooking spray, and you don't dirty your cookie sheets. One of the things that I've learned over the years is that a dirty or caked on cookie sheet that has like black burned remnants from the time before, that actually hinders the radiant energy and the heat transfer, and it has the power to overbake anything that you put on it. So it's really super important to have clean bakeware, and you can certainly achieve that if you are using parchment paper like I do right behind me. So I've got that ready. I'm gonna start with the yolk mixture, and what we're gonna do is we are gonna add our cream cheese and our casein powder to the egg yolk mixture, okay? So we're gonna use 2 scoops of casein powder. I ran out of it the other day, and I'm very fortunate that Amazon sent me it yesterday. I don't know what I would have done had it not been for Amazon Prime. So there is my plug for them. So 2 scoops of casein protein powder. Remember, I use the casein powder because it resembles flour. And actually, I played with it a little bit yesterday while I was making something else. It feels like cornstarch, but it handles like flour. So just thought I would let you know that. So we've got the casein powder, and then we have to add the cream cheese and salt to this mixture. So cream cheese is 4 ounces. I have already measured it out, just in the essence of time and space. And this is my homemade cream cheese. So take a look. You can't even tell the difference. I mean, this is some thick stuff. Look. Okay, so you're gonna see this is pretty life-changing. So I've got the cream cheese in here, And then I'm gonna take 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. Put that in there. 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. I wouldn't over salt it if I were you, but it's okay. All right. And then I'm just gonna blend this until it's all mixed and it's gonna end up looking pretty thick, and that's okay. I probably could have used a bigger glass bowl, but we're gonna be, really what we're doing is we're just trying to get this mixed, and then we're gonna transfer it to the egg white mixture in just a minute. So I also wanted to use clear glassware today in both the cloud bread and the coffee demonstration, because I wanted you to be able to see it too. So we got this pretty much done. I speed it up a little bit because I want to get as much off the beaters as I can. Now the next step, we have to use the beaters again, and it is recommended that you make sure that you use clean egg beaters. So I'm going to just get these cleaned off real quick in the sink and make sure that all the egg yolk is off there, because now what we're going to do is we're going to make the egg white part, and the egg white part is just the egg whites and then a 1/2 teaspoon of cream of tartar. Cream of tartar is going to help us speed up the process of like meringue, where you've got those, it'll turn white and you've got those stiff peaks. So we will have that. Let me get those back in there. And now we need a 1/2 teaspoon of cream of tartar. And this doesn't take long at all. It's actually really cool. So that's done and that's done. So now with the cream of tartar, you can just, I start off slow and then I increase the speed. And I put it on 9. However fast your beaters will go with your mixer. I'm scraping the sides because there's a little cream of tartar on the sides, and I wanted to make sure that I got it all. So this is going really fast. It's bubbling up. It's doing everything that it should. And we're just going to do it for a couple of seconds. Maybe another 30 seconds, really. And we want to get those really stiff peaks. And I think at the beginning, the first batch that I did, I had only 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. And I think I sat here for like 5 minutes just holding this darn thing, wondering when it was going to done. So I increased it. And I'm glad I did, because it made for a really good recipe. So once I have those stiff peaks, and if you don't know what I mean, I'll show you in just a second. But while I'm waiting for these to finish up, you can make 6 or 8 of these, depending on if you want them medium size or large size. I recommend making 8 of them, only because that way I can have 2. And sometimes you want the option to have more. It's a mind trick that I play with myself. And so if you're having 6 servings, you're looking at 74 calories. If you're looking at 8 servings, you're looking at 56 calories. As far as fat grams, 6 servings would be 3 grams of fat, and 8 servings would be just about 2.5. Carbs, you're looking at 1 gram of carbs for 6 servings, and less than 1 for 8 servings. And then finally, as far as protein, you're looking at about 9 grams for the 6 servings, or 7 grams for the 8 servings. And I think we're about done. And the stiff peaks, I can definitely see stiff peaks. So what we're going to do next is we are going to gently fold in the egg yolk mixture into the meringue. And I always like to do a spatula and scrape it and then put it in here. Now, I used to just do it, it was recommended that you do it with a spatula so you don't interrupt the fluffiness of the meringue. But what I decided works better and better time really is I use my mixer, but I do it on slow, and that's what I'm gonna do now. And really what you wanna do is you wanna get this mixed enough for it to turn from white to yellow, because yellow is obviously gonna override the white in this mixture. And you just wanna make sure, and I just rotate the bowl and I turn and turn until I can see that yellow emerge. And it also helps to take your spatula and give it a little push too, so we're not here all day. I do keep these in the fridge once they're done, and I have popped them in the toaster to get them like a toasted bagel, and they're amazing. The other thing that I do is, if I'm making 8 servings, which I am gonna make 8 servings today, I make 4 of them plain and 4 of them with the everything bagel seasoning on it, and that way I've got a little bit of variety. All right, so this is done. So now you can see you've got just a pile of, it looks like yellow marshmallow fluff, which I don't know, is it a good or bad thing? I'm not sure. So give it a quick stir and make sure you've got it nice and lump free, which I do, it looks great. And then I've got my cookie sheet lined with parchment paper, and I'm just gonna take like a medium-sized spoon, and I'm gonna just get 8 spoonfuls full, and I'm gonna put them on the cookie sheet. I think I did 3, 2, 3 is how I did it earlier. I've got some already made, so that way we don't have to sit here and wait for this to be done. I like to get everything placed, and I know I have some left because I'm not done, but then I like to space everything out and make sure the portions are pretty accurate. And I did load this into myfitnesspal.com. That is my app of choice. It is so choice. Name that movie. Liz, if you're watching, name that movie. It is so choice. If you know what I'm talking about, chirp in and say, come on, don't be shy. All right, so I've got 8 of these guys. Like I said, 4 of them I'm gonna put my everything bagel seasoning on, and I'm gonna sprinkle it. I like a lot of everything bagel, so I'm not holding back. All or none. Now this is gonna go into a preheated oven, 300 degrees for 30 minutes. Only 30 minutes. In fact, I'm probably gonna check it at 28 or 29 minutes, because the last thing you want is to overbake them. Then they'll be nice little yellow hockey pucks. So in they go. And I will set the timer for 30 minutes. And then I'm gonna show you how they look. So there's my everything bagel one, and there's not my everything bagel one. They turn out, they're nice and brown on the back. And I mean, you could have a Frisbee if you wanted, but they are absolutely delicious. So these are our finished product. I'm gonna leave them right here in front. I don't know that you can see it, but I am leaving it there. And now we're gonna move over to our Bariatric Barista. We're gonna make 4 drinks. 3 of them are coffee, 1 is tea. We're gonna do a skinny latte with collagen peptides and mega protein. We're gonna do caramel coffee with sugar-free caramel cold foam or foam. We're gonna do a hazelnut mocha, and then we're gonna do a chai tea latte. All of these are sugar-free. All of these can be served hot or cold, and all of these are so amazing. I should take stock in Starbucks or open up my own coffee shop. So here we go. Let me bring this stuff over. I've got most of it prepared for you. This is espresso, and I am a huge fan of espresso. I make it as decaf and as regular calf, and it is my absolute favorite. I do have an espresso machine over here. It is the equivalent of, it's a double shot, so it's the equivalent of a half a cup. So if you don't have an espresso machine, whatever coffee vehicle you have, you need a half a cup of strong coffee. And the reason why I say strong is not because I need the caffeine in the morning, even though I need the caffeine in the morning. It's because you want it to be strong, because if you're gonna have it iced, you wanna make sure that it's not being super diluted. And if you're serving it hot, you wanna be able to add some hot water. And that's why you wanna start off with strong coffee or a double shot of espresso. So we're gonna do that. The first one up is a skinny latte with collagen peptides. I have two things that I put in my morning coffee. Now, I wake up at, like 5:45 in the morning, and before my family even wakes up, I have this cup of coffee. This is how I start my day, because my goal is to not eat anything until breakfast, and then not eat anything from breakfast until lunch, and then not eat anything until lunch and dinner. The between meal time is the time that I focus on getting my liquids. So I want to make sure that even though I'm waking up at 5:30 or 5:45, that I've got something in my belly to sustain me until 9 or 9:30, when I usually have my breakfast. And I always have a coffee drink for breakfast, usually the chai tea latte or an iced coffee, and I use the protein shake, and I'll show you. But a couple things that I wanted to show you first are one of my gadgets that I absolutely love. And this, if you haven't seen it yet, is a frother. It looks like a mini immersion blender, and can you hear it? It's the most amazing thing ever, and it was only, what was it, $19.99, or yeah, I think it was like $19.99. Seriously, one of the best buys that I've ever had, and it's lifetime guaranteed, and it's amazing. It's really good at making the foam, which I'll show you, but it's also really good at stirring my protein powder. I've got a video on the Bariatrics and Tips page, and I also have it attached to my YouTube, that shows you how to dissolve the protein, the Gene Pro and the Vital Protein collagen peptides in water to make a syrup. And I've made the syrup, but I actually can froth it too and make it nice and smooth. And so that goes into my morning coffee, and that's the basis of my skinny latte in the morning. Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my cup of coffee, and I'm gonna pour in my collagen peptides and my Gene Pro. This is a double-decker protein drink, and the only reason I do it is because I wake up at 5:45 and I don't eat breakfast for 4 more hours. So this is a very low-calorie, high-protein way for me to get from point A to point B in my day. Okay, so pour that in. All right, so now I've got my coffee and my protein, and now I'm gonna start with my milk. I like to have this hot, so I warm up the milk in the microwave, and then I add it, or sometimes I just pour it all in and I zap it for 30 seconds so it gets pretty warm. And actually, I'm gonna start the water here. So I've got my frother cup, and it's obviously, unless you're Superman, you can't see through it. So I'm gonna reverse this, and I'm actually gonna pour my milk in for my latte, and I use fat-free skim milk, and I use the Fairlife kind, and I use Fairlife specifically for my coffee just because it gives a protein boost. So I got my milk in there, so I'm halfway to my skinny latte, but then I want to make sure that I have it flavored the way I want, and I'm a huge hazelnut addict, and I have taken stock in different kinds of sugar-free syrup. I've got sugar-free caramel, I've got sugar-free hazelnut, which I'm gonna use, and then I've got sugar-free vanilla, and these are really big 25-ounce bottles, and I get them at Sam's Club. They are in the warehouse. You can do it online too, and they're only, I think they're $4.78 a bottle, so it's really nice. And so I'm gonna just put a little bit of hazelnut in there to flavor it. the Gene Pro that I use is the mochaccino, and I got this as a gift, but I've used the regular unflavored too, and the mochaccino, enhances the coffee, but the unflavored one, you can't even tell the difference, so it's amazing. So I've got that, and then the Vital Proteins, this is just the brand that I use. I got it at Costco, and they're on sale, a really good deal every so often at Costco. And so far, I really like it. I do think that it gives me energy. My nails are growing a lot better, and my hair's growing a lot better, and I've been using it for probably a little over a month. Okay. So now I wanna, while my hot water is being made, because I do wanna dilute it a little with the hot water because I've got my strong coffee, I want to have that foam on top. And I always like to flavor my foam too, otherwise it's just gonna taste like puffy milk. And so I just put a little bit of hazelnut in there, and then I go to town with this. So it's really nice, it molds to your hand, and you've got the button that you can press here, and you just put it in, and you watch, it's gonna start growing. I started off with about a half a cup, and I can see now it's getting thicker and thicker and thicker. And it's so nice to have foam on top of the drink. The prettier, the better. It feels like I've gone to Starbucks, and yet it's a fraction of the price, and that's what I absolutely love. So it's grown considerably here. And I'm not going to use all of this because I've got 2 more drinks that require it. So I'm going to stop for a second. And it comes with this handy dandy stand. I can rinse it too, just to say I rinsed it. And then I'm going to get my hot water, pour it in a little. I'll leave this right here. And then I'm just going to put a little foam on top. And now I've got a skinny, I call it hot and skinny latte with all my collagen. And if you get a white mustache after, you did it right. It's amazing. Another thing that you can do is you can flavor it if you like to have cream instead of using half and half, or instead of using the Fairlife skim milk that I did, you could supplement that with a protein shake of your choice too. I'm a huge Fairlife person right now. It seriously, I think, is a superior beverage, and if you haven't tried it yet, I would definitely encourage you to try it. But that's drink number 1. So I'm going to put drink number 1 here. You can also, remember, you can pour anything over ice, and you can make this an iced beverage, and I'm going to show you that part next. I should have put ice in the cup. The next drink that we're going to make is a caramel coffee with sugar-free caramel cold foam. And so I've got another cup of coffee, and I think I'm going to make this one iced, but caramel. So I'm going to put my caramel syrup in here. And then again, you'd want to put the caramel into the foam too. I know I already put the hazelnut in there, but for all intended purposes, we're just going to pretend. Then I'm going to take my caramel protein shake, and if I'm having this for breakfast, which I often do, I will fill the whole thing. I'll eventually use the entire protein shake. You may not see me fill the whole thing right now, but it will be consumed, trust me. So I'm going to put that in there. I really only used half of it. And instead of doing hot water, I'm going to use ice. Oh, I already got one. Let me get some ice out of the freezer. And now, get my cold foam. Sometimes you might just have to foam it a little bit more, which is no problem. And then, now tell me, that doesn't look legit. Today when I was grocery shopping this morning, I stopped to get my regular Starbucks, and I asked them if they would give me a bunch of cups and lids because I was doing this demonstration today, and they did, because they love me, they know me by name, they know my usual drink, and so I got my cup. So, Seriously, this is amazing, and I can't even tell that it's protein enriched. It looks like a great coffee drink. One thing I want to say, like, I just think everything tastes better in a Starbucks cup. I kind of use the Starbucks as my anchor, and I don't know if everybody knows what a visual anchor is. It's something that I learned in Weight Watchers like 3 lifetimes ago, but that was one of the things that always stuck with me, even when I started the weight loss surgery journey. An anchor is just a visual representation of what you want to achieve. And you could even make your coffee cup an anchor. My favorite coffee cup right now is the one that says I'd rather be running, and that's a huge story that I found this cup after years of wanting it. And when I see something that pertains to running, it honestly makes me want to be a better person. It honestly makes me want to stick to my goals and just knock it out of the park. And so it's really nice that you have those visual reminders, especially during times of despair, because let's face it, the weight loss journey is not easy, and it's not a quick fix. And there are times you're gonna want this, but you can only have that. And that's what we're trying to conquer. You can have this and that. You just need to know how to go about doing it. And I'm really proud of my coffee drinks that I just have grown to love. So that's drink number 2. Let's put this over here. Drink number 3 is going to be a hazelnut mocha, and we're gonna make it quite similarly. But instead, we're going to use, obviously, more hazelnut. And then we are going to use a chocolate protein shake. I love the way chocolate and hazelnut go together. It reminds me of Nutella. So it's like a Nutella mocha without the Nutella, and it's totally amazing. These drinks I prefer them cold. I just love them so much. And I already did put the hazelnut in there. I'm gonna put a little bit more hazelnut in here, and then I'm gonna foam it up again. And you can even use a little bit of protein shake, and you can also froth that. So let me show you how that goes. See, now you can see that it's changed colors from vanilla to chocolate. Well, not really vanilla, it was milk, not a vanilla shake. And before I pour it over, I'm gonna put ice in my cup. I guess this means that I either have a lot to drink today, or I have my breakfast made for tomorrow. And I'm gonna pour it over, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of my foam and seal it with a lid. And then there we go. We've got a hazelnut mocha. It is absolutely amazing, if I do say so. The final one is a chai tea latte. And this was inspired by my son. His girlfriend started drinking chai tea latte, and he apparently got addicted. Go figure, whatever. And so, but he's got the right idea, because I used to drink these quite a bit in the days before weight loss surgery. And I remember I was working at a bank. I'm still working at a bank, but I was at a different location, and they had a Starbucks conveniently next door, and I would get a large chai tea latte every day. And I always had it made with skim milk, but it didn't matter, because by the time I realized how much sugar was in it, I was already just begging God for forgiveness. I couldn't believe I was drinking that many calories. But now, lo and behold, there is a sugar-free chai tea latte. You can actually get these at the store. I get them on Amazon. It is way cheaper, by well over $1 a container. And I get it as a 6-pack, and then it becomes even less expensive if you put it on a monthly or however long subscription. So because my son and I drink these pretty much daily, we're going through like 6 or more a month, but that's just 2 of us. And he likes to make the big Trenta size one because he brings it to school with him. He's a senior in high school. So the good thing is sugar-free, so 0 calories. Serving size is 3/4 of a cup. They have a variety. They actually have 2 other varieties that I'm aware of. They have the regular full sugar variety, and then they have a caffeine-free variety, but it's not sugar-free. So you have to decide whether you want the sugar-free or the caffeine-free. And I'm okay with having 1 or 2 caffeinated drinks a day, and so is my surgeon. So if you have any doubts, definitely check with your surgeon or your dietitian. But, and then really cool, if you know Starbucks really well, like I do, the line at the bottom is the 1 cup mark. So I pour just a little bit less than that first line. Oh, and I don't have to do that because, well, here, let's put it to the test. Well, I put more in, and that's because I think I put 1.25 cups in because I had the last box in the fridge. Adam opened 2. But the first line is a cup. And so I have that, and then all I do is I combine it with a vanilla protein shake. And sometimes if I want something like spicy enough, I'll add just a drop, the smallest drop that I can, of essential oil cinnamon. It's one of my favorites. Essential oils can do a lot for your drinks and to flavor your food without any calories or anything, and it's really great for water too. So that is the iced chai. Let's just pretend that I put ice in it. It is one of the best drinks that I have ever had, and the only way it would taste better is if it had ice in it, and it will as soon as I'm done with this broadcast, because I think I'm gonna drink it. So that is our lesson with coffee drinks. You can make this stuff at home. It's super easy. If you're interested in this frother, let me know. It's on Amazon. Just type in mini frother. Zulay, Z-U-L-A-Y is the brand. They are not paying me for this endorsement, but it is a product that I absolutely love. And it helps make cooking fun, and it helps make cooking easy, and it helps me live large while I cook small and find flavor in everything that I do. So super, super wonderful stuff. Okay, all right. So now let's go back to bagel schmear land. I'm gonna get this stuff out of here. And are you ready to make your bagel schmear? It is gonna be, or actually we're gonna do our cream cheese. Duh. All right, so now you can see that I've got the cottage cheese. The orange towel is actually pretty damp, so I know it's absorbed a lot of the moisture. So I'm gonna just grab all 4 corners of the paper towel, and I'm gonna put it into my Cuisinart. Now, if you don't have a food processor, you can put it into a blender or the Ninja or whatever tool that you have. Funny story, I got this for a bridal shower gift. I've been married, it'll be 22 years in April. And my 2 aunts and my mom's best friend got it for me. My mom made sure that I knew that it was like this $300 or $400 commercial grade Cuisinart, and I was appalled. I'm like, why would they spend so much money on that? The sentiment was nice, but I was like, I was young and poor and all that good stuff. So, but they got it for me, and it is one of my most beloved tools. And here we are 22 years later, almost 22 years next month, because I think my bridal shower was in March. And this thing is still running. So it just goes to show you, you do get what you pay for. It's a great investment. I make a lot of things with it. I make salsa, homemade salsa. That'll be talked about next week for our Mexican fiesta. But it's a great little tool. So the cheese curds are in here, and we are going to go ahead and just pulverize it. I'm not putting anything else in here except for the cottage cheese curds. You could season it with a little salt if you want, but try it first, and then if you want to mix 1/8 of a teaspoon, go for it. I don't think it's necessary. And then I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to let it blend it until it's that smooth white consistency. It's getting there. You can tell it's getting thick. Hopefully you can see it all right. And that's it. That's all you have to do. So let me get this out of here. And then I can show it to you. I like to scrape. I don't want to lose any of it because it is so flippin' delicious. I'm gonna put it right in here. And look at how thick it is. Super thick. It looks like the whipped cream cheese that I buy at the store for my family. And all it is cottage cheese. So what you need to do is just measure out on your food scale an ounce. I think an ounce is like 30 calories or so on myfitnesspal.com. You make sure that you type in cottage cheese 4%. And then you do it by the ounce. And then you're getting your protein in. And that's really all you have to account for it. It's extremely, extremely thick. So check that out. Now, who does not want to eat that? I don't know who doesn't want to eat it, but I want to eat all of it. So we're gonna do that in just a second. So now we've got all the components to make our bagel schmear. I'm gonna get my knife. I'm gonna get some things out of the refrigerator that are cold. And then you are going to see the magic happen. So I love, like I said, I love lox. Lox is just another word for smoked salmon, and I'm not quite sure why it's called lox, but it is. And I'm gonna look that up actually, because now I'm super curious. So I'm gonna take one of my egg cloud breads, the one with the everything bagel, and just gonna go to town here and spread my cream cheese. We're gonna pretend that I use the food scale, and I'm probably pretty accurate too. So I've got the cream cheese on here, and then the good Jewish girl that I am, I got a nice tomato, which I'm going to slice. A tomato on top, almost like a pizza. And then I've got my smoked salmon. I usually, an ounce of it is 55 calories, I believe, and some good protein. And then I'm gonna sprinkle my everything bagel seasoning. And now you've got bagels and lox on a very smaller scale calorie-wise. We live large by eating this. We cook small by making not a huge batch, and we're finding flavor in everything that we do because I've got salmon, I don't feel deprived. I got my everything bagel seasoning, which is really good for my senses, and I've got like a low carb, no carb cloud bread that definitely does the job. It's freaking amazing. It's amazing. So hopefully you can use this, and Melissa says yum. Thanks, Melissa. You gotta make it. It's so amazing. If you have any questions about the things that you saw today, definitely let me know. I will put the recipes online. If you have any questions about the coffee drinks or need help assembling them, I kind of take, whenever I'm making my skinny latte, I kind of use about a 1/4 cup of milk, but everything else, I just eyeball. It's all, like if I'm using the whole protein shake, I put it on my FitnessPal as the whole protein shake. And I don't worry about that because that's my good protein, it's my liquids, and it makes me happy, and hopefully it makes you guys happy too. Up next week, we've got we've got, oh, I'm sorry, we don't have Mexican next week. We have our protein powder pantry next week. So I'm gonna make a couple of my favorite things using various types of protein powder. Upcoming ones on March 7th and March 14th are Mexican and Viva Italia, respectfully. And it really helps me gauge my audience if you can respond to the Facebook events. I just like to see those numbers grow and like to know that I'm talking to someone other than myself. So that would really help me out. Remember that I'm on social media, Facebook, obviously, YouTube, these videos will be posted, TikTok whenever I've got a short video clip, Twitter to let you know what's going on, and Instagram, of course. And remember, we are here we have to eat to live, not live to eat, but there's no reason we should ever feel deprived of anything. We are human, we are entitled to live large while we cook small and totally find flavor in everything that we do. So thank you guys so much for being here today. I so appreciate it. My name is Michelle Geeson. I am with Bariatrics and Tips, and I hope you have a great week. I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.